What if Naruto is a tailed beast part 7? Let's go. Everybody's concentration and focus are completely set on Naruto, Sasuke, and the arena or stage that they're fighting on. This would likely become the most legendary Genin battle to have ever occurred. And Naruto and Sasuke are totally in for it. Yeah, they're teammates, but they're excited to fight. They've always had kind of a rivalry, but never had the chance to fight out at all out like this, especially with an audience. So they're both excited to see what's going to happen, and also excited to see what the other did in the 1 month training break, as they didn't see each other at all during that time. So the fight now begins. The proctor opens the match. Naruto and Sasuke go to each other, bow, do the unison sign, and the match begins. Sasuke immediately switches to his Sharingan, which now actually has 3 Tomoe in both eyes. It's pretty strong, so yeah, 3 Tomoe in each eyes. Meanwhile, Naruto is clenching his fist, almost squatting down in a sense, kind of bending his knees, gathering his chakra up towards his upper body and focusing it on his legs, arms, and fists, as well as his eyes, as even though he doesn't have a dojutsu, he is able to somewhat use a variation of the chakra cloak to actually focus the chakra cloak onto his eyes or any other body part and enhance that part. So focusing on his eyes, he's actually able to mimic some abilities of the Sharingan, such as faster reaction speed and just being able to see better in a fight. Not quite as good as your Sharingan, but it's much better than a normal eye. Anyway, now Naruto's body is drenched in a purplish color, as his hair starts to somewhat float and seem to want to fly off his head, almost scared of the fight itself. Naruto, thinking he already won the battle before he even started, slowly starts walking towards Sasuke, completely relaxed, not with any ulterior motives. Meanwhile, Sasuke is thinking of 10 different strategies to use kunai, his flame jutsu, and Sharingan abilities to outplay Naruto and win with tactics, as he knows that Naruto's taijutsu is far superior to his, but his tactical sense, well, he could try to use that. He throws a shuriken at Naruto and uses the Shadow Shuriken jutsu, which takes Naruto off guard. Meanwhile, Sasuke starts running around Naruto trying to get hits from every direction possible, but Naruto is simply too fast. And after a few seconds, Naruto is even able to suspect Sasuke's next move and actually block them before they even happen. Now Naruto slowly gaining speed as he now too starts using it and runs around the battlefield, now doing a similar strategy to Sasuke that Sasuke previously used on him, throwing shuriken everywhere, running around, just that he's much faster, and even uses some basic taijutsu to kick him in the side whenever he can, or punch him in the face or his stomach. Well, at least try. Sasuke is being pushed back fast, and then sees that he has to already use something that took him the whole month training break, not completely all of it, but a lot of the time, to do this jutsu, and Sasuke will now use it. It is the Chidori, a lightning style jutsu which he practiced with Kakashi, as he didn't want to practice a Sharingan like he'd had for multiple years with his brother and even his father. So he actually wanted to use this 1 month training break to do something unique, and Kakashi presented himself as a unique opportunity to teach him a new jutsu that Sasuke saw in a mission previously. So Sasuke builds up the Chidori, throws a few more shuriken with his other hand, and actually prepares a fireball jutsu, and then he would jump through his own fireball using the Chidori to try to slice Naruto up. Of course, he didn't want to kill him, but he knew that even if Naruto was hurt, not only does he have pretty good natural healing powers as they'd seen in previous training or sparring matches, as Naruto always, for some reason, healed his wounds after mere minutes, whilst it took Sasuke hours, even until the next morning, to recover completely. But also, if really something bad happened, there is medical ninjas on standby if anything were to happen. So Sasuke can fight carefree, and does the thing he planned. He jumps to his own fireball, not really being bothered by the heat, as he is an Uchiha, and they're basically clan of the fire. His eyes reflect the fire that he jumped through, as they're already the reddish color of lava. And Sasuke gets a few good stabs off with his Chidori hand, but the only thing that happened was some of Naruto's clothing ripping, as he was fast enough to dodge the rest. Just the first one caught him off guard, so Sasuke was actually able to tear Naruto's shirt up. But that's it, no actual injuries. But Sasuke did use quite a bit of chakra, as he used a fireball that had to be big enough to be able to hide a whole human body, and one of his Chidori, as he's not able to use infinite Chidori. He has a very limited amount, only being able to do about 5 of them. Now, the reason he's able to do it 5 times instead of 3 like in canon is actually because he's had much more training in his childhood, especially chakra training. Also, as I've mentioned many times now, he has that rivalry with both Temari and Naruto, and they push each other to go further and further and train even just that little bit extra every day, which in the grand scheme of things makes them very much stronger. So after 1 month, Sasuke is able to use 5 Chidori in 1 day until he has to recover. So Sasuke has 4 more tries but does not want to use 4 more, especially since he's had to use some other chakra for some other jutsu, as well as he has to use the Sharingan, which takes off at least 1 more. So if he uses about 2 more in this fight, that should be good. And then he might have a few minutes to recover and use 1 more on that day, but that is it. He could not use much more than that, as he needs chakra for more things than just his Chidori. Now at this point, Sasuke and Naruto start just fighting normal hand in hand, but Naruto's just winning. His agility is much better than Sasuke, and his sheer strength, his power is much better too. Sasuke continues to try to outsmart Naruto, but he simply has no chance. No fireball or shuriken or kunai can do any harm to Naruto, and he does actually even use the second Chidori, but even that does less than the first one did, not even hitting Naruto at this point. Now Naruto does actually want to end this fight now, as he actually uses some of his chakra, not just his taijutsu, as now he's not just using the chakra cloak to enhance his physical strength, but he's actually using his chakra to basically grip the air, similar to water and tree walking, but this is like the 3rd step. So you go from normal walking, then you're able to tree walk, then you're able to water walk, which is already much harder, and then with very careful training and insane chakra control, you're actually able to basically jump in the air, almost at being able to double jump. But with Naruto's insane chakra potential, he's able to train for days on end without having to rest, so when he puts his mind to learning a jutsu or even making a new technique himself, he just has to have the perseverance, as he has more than enough energy to. So with the months and years, he'll learn to jump in the air, and is actually really fast, even faster than running on the ground. As he barely has to move his legs, he just basically pushes himself off with chakra through the air like a pinball machine. Now Naruto uses his insane speed to actually throw punches mid-air, as when he pushes himself off of something, he makes the direction onto Sasuke, right onto his face, and kicks or punches him, and then jumps on the next piece of air, I'm gonna say, and then repeat. Now, Sasuke is basically getting destroyed, kind of like in Haku's ice mirrors and canon, as he just simply can't keep up with Naruto's speed. And he tries to use 1 more Chidori as he's flinging it around, but now Naruto stops his insane speed, walks towards Sasuke, lifts up his own foot from the ground, and then drops it back, making a light earthquake which makes Sasuke fall to the ground. Then the arena calms down again, the ground now being a little bit shattered, but normal again, as Naruto's holding a kunai to Sasuke's face, or rather, throat, which makes the match won for Naruto, as Sasuke has to give up, because realistically, if he didn't, Naruto could simply kill him at this point. But Naruto doesn't want to do that, so Sasuke gives up. Naruto's now through. to the end. Or rather, one round further. Now, the next fight would be Shiro against Temari, two very powerful kunoichi from two different villages. They both entered the arena as Temari thought she was going to win, but Shiro thought that she was going to win. They're both pretty self-conscious, but not in the way that they're shy, but they're self-confident, I should say. They're confident in abilities, and they can be, as they're both pretty damn powerful. Temari's wind jutsus are off the chart, meanwhile Shiro has her Sharingan and pretty good intelligence and strategies that she has perfected over the years. So, they bow, do the unison sign, and the proctor begins the match. Similar to Sasuke, Shiro immediately uses her Sharingan abilities, as she also has a very powerful 3 Temari Sharingan in both of her eyes, left and right. Now Temari uses one swift motion of her wind blade, or rather wind fan, as she explains the whole thing about the 5 moons, or 3 moons actually, I think it's 3 moons. Comment down below, but I'm pretty sure it's 3 moons actually, so yeah. She explains that in 2 more hits, that Shiro's actually gonna lose, and she's gonna win the whole tournament. Well, Temari is. Shiro won't let that happen as she rushes in for a fight, and Temari uses one more swish of her blade, but it's not as effective as she thought it would be. It does definitely push Shiro back and surprises her with the power, as it is more power than the first dash, but it's less power than Temari imagined, if that makes sense. So that kind of continues, and Temari is reluctant to use her third strike of the fan, but at the end does actually do it. Now, it is by far the most strongest one, as it's even stronger than the first and second dash of the fan combined, but it is not quite enough to knock out Shiro. Now, it does definitely wear her out quite a bit, but she isn't quite down yet, as she goes in for another fight. She's very persevered, and her willpower is not easily breakable, even on the brink of unconsciousness. Temari's hand-to-hand combat isn't that good, as she did rely on her fan quite a bit, so even with a worn-out Shiro, they're actually fighting pretty equally at this point. Temari has difficulty using any jutsu with Shiro's Sharingan, but slowly but surely, Temari just has to wait until Shiro has to turn off her Sharingan to actually stay awake, as she has basically no more chakra left, because she's had to, number 1, remain her Sharingan in use, number 2, she's actually had to use chakra on her hands and feet to not fly away completely and smash into the wall. She's had to use a lot of chakra on her feet to stay standing. And also just throughout the fight, she uses quite a bit of chakra with her jutsu. So now, on the brink of unconsciousness, Shiro is keeping on fighting, and Temari is actually being pushed back quite a bit, as she has no choice. So at this point, they're both worn out, Shiro more than Temari, but out of sheer respect, Temari gives up the match for Shiro to win it. Now Shiro, losing the match and losing the adrenaline that was keeping her fighting, almost faints at this point, but has just enough power to actually be able to leave the arena and sit down, starting to actually sleep. Now, if I'm correct, which hopefully I am, because else this would be pretty messy of a what if, there should be 3 fighters remaining, one of them who didn't go through a second exam or round. So, Naruto fought Sasuke as the second round, Shiro fought Temari as the second round, but then Mitsumori hasn't had a match yet. And if I'm right, then he's the only one who hasn't had a second round that actually got through the first one. And now, there's kind of a problem, as they had, of course, known that there would be an uneven number of fighters in the second round, so they actually prepared a special test for that person, whoever it is, to pass and be able to go on to the finals, as it wouldn't be fair for that person to just skip the second round. And that would actually be to fight a real-life Chunin. Now, they chose a Chunin not too powerful, but not weak either. Pretty much an ideal tuning, pretty much in the middle of what a tuning is or should be. But as soon as their fight started, or actually a few seconds before, there was an explosion that was heard and seen with the crowd not far away, inside the Leaf Village, near the prison. Then multiple explosions followed, across the walls, and some inside the village. But that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!